After dismantling Diego Brandao in his first UFC main event in 2014, Conor McGregor assured the thousands of fans in attendance at the O2 Arena in Dublin, Ireland one thing: this was just the beginning.
I said it last year, we're not here just to take part, we're here to take over.
And the notorious one was right. Take over the UFC is exactly what he did.
That's what I dreamed into reality. Oh, that looks good. That looks good, God bless.
Ever since the infancy of McGregor's career inside the Octagon, he's been the one calling the shots. And despite what he'd have you believe, he's definitely not in consideration for the greatest MMA fighter of all time. But he is undeniably the most important athlete in the history of the sport. In fact, it's not even close.
Where the is my second belt? Stomp on his head as he's unconscious. Who the is that guy?
It's the most disgusting thing that has ever happened in the history of the company.
Conor McGregor, remember, was arrested last month in Miami.
Fuck the Mayweathers! The notorious Conor McGregor!
McGregor already had high hopes when he came onto the UFC scene in 2013 at the age of 24. He was a two-division champion in the European promotion Cage Warriors and was widely regarded as a top prospect from that side of the pond. And the animated Irishman's personality made the fan anticipation even stronger.
You know, there's two things I really like to do, and that's whoop ass and look good, and I'm doing one of them right now. On Saturday night, I'm gonna do the other.
After his UFC debut, a first-round knockout of Marcus Brimage, McGregor's potential was obvious.
Looking to finish it here. This is why everyone's been talking about Conor. It's all over. Conor McGregor, another first-round win.
Combined with his brash persona and penchant for trash talking, the UFC had the early makings of a gold mine on its hands.
I feel like I'm stealing the show. I feel like I've stole the show, stole everything. You know? I'm gonna steal all the money from the UFC. You know, hightail it back to Ireland, big bag of money. F the recession.
It was important McGregor continued to win, and win he did. Before every fight, McGregor took a page out of Muhammad Ali's playbook by predicting the round in which he'd knock out his opponent.
Coming up against me, that's not going to be good. You know, I'm going to crack him with a jab and he's going to wobble and I'm going to put him away early. It's going to be a first round KO, mark my words.
And in many cases, he was right, or at least close.
All right, 90 seconds in. Having a conversation, looking to finish the fight. That's it. Wow.
Fans started to tune in to see if Mystic Mac could make good on his seemingly outlandish predictions, or if someone would make him eat his words. If Floyd Mayweather proved anything, it's that villains sell tickets.
You can't be too good, guys. I chose to be the bad guy. Fuck you.
I'm gonna beat you till you respect me. I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna make you call me pretty. I'm gonna beat you, like that.
I'm still gonna beat his ass.
The timing of McGregor's UFC signing was perfect, and that only quickened his rise. The UFC's resident bad guy, Chael Sonnen, was on his way out, making room for a new breed of heels. The championship reigns of Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre, meanwhile, ended the same year McGregor's journey in the Octagon began.
Anderson. Oh, he got hit. Looking to finish it. It is all over. Chris Weidman is the UFC middleweight champion.
Light heavyweight champion John Jones was making fools of his opponents, but the UFC was definitely in a transition period, and it was badly in need of new star power. For all of Jones's in-cage brilliance, he's never been half the showman Conor is. By the time McGregor slept Jose Aldo in a stunning 13 seconds to capture the UFC featherweight belt in 2015, he was already the most popular fighter in the promotion.
Relaxed and smiling. Oh! Just like that! Conor McGregor is the new UFC featherweight champion of the world! Oh! Unbelievable! The first punch he threw!
Nobody could match his highlight reel in the cage. or outside of it.
I feel at the top. I already felt at the top before tonight. I'm confident going forward that nobody can take what I bring.
The Aldo win was huge for Conor's career. The Nate Diaz rivalry in 2016 skyrocketed it to new heights. But what put McGregor over the top was capturing a second UFC title and becoming the first fighter in UFC history to hold belts in 2 different divisions at the same time.
Until now, he's done. He's done. It is all over. History has been made.
Conor McGregor, the first man ever to hold 2 titles simultaneously.
After McGregor outclassed Eddie Alvarez at UFC 205 in November 2016 and took home the lightweight title, his career went into overdrive. He started behaving as if the UFC was his partner, not his employer.
Where's my share? Where's my equity? You want me to stick around? You want me to keep doing what I'm doing? Let's talk, but I want the ownership now. I want equal share. I want what I deserve, what I've earned.
And for an organization like the UFC, which is more akin to World Wrestling Entertainment than boxing in how it controls nearly all aspects of its fighters' careers, this was unheard of. And that victory and never-before-seen popularity gave him the leverage and attention needed to set up a once unthinkable boxing match against Mayweather in 2017.
His little legs, his little core, his little head. I'm gonna knock him out inside 4 rounds, mark my words.
McGregor never had a chance against Floyd, who ended up extending his record to 50-0 with a 10th round victory. But McGregor promoted the bout so well that he actually convinced several people, including some so-called experts, that he could walk into his boxing debut and somehow beat one of the greatest boxers to ever live.
Conor McGregor is going to knock out Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the 9th round. That's what I believe is going to happen.
No.
And that match, which many rightfully labeled a farce, generated the second most pay-per-view buys of any combat sports event ever. You really have to hand it to Conor for masterfully leveraging the media into a Brinks truckload of cash.
I'm in this to make money, and I know that the media is going to help me get money, so...
No MMA fighter has broken into the mainstream like McGregor. The fact that he introduced his own brand of Irish whiskey in 2018 is all the proof you need.
Proper Irish whiskey. Proper 12.
McGregor has headlined 5 of the 6 highest selling pay-per-views in UFC history. For reference, Rousey and Brock Lesnar have headlined 2 of the 10 biggest events each. It seems nothing can stop the McGregor train, nor the UFC's reliance on it. He spent the 14 months between the Mayweather match and the Khabib fight mostly partying and not training. Even throwing a dolly through a bus window carrying other UFC fighters and his subsequent arrest in April 2018 turned into promotional material for his match with Khabib.
Now war is upon us.
Breaking news, Conor McGregor caught on video.
Grabbed a steel dolly and smashed in a bus window.
The fact is, before this past January, when Conor beat Donald Cerrone in 40 seconds, McGregor hadn't won a fight in over 3 years. His reputation among his peers was damaged by that inactivity and the controversy, which also included multiple investigations into sexual assault allegations, as well as an assault charge for punching a man at a Dublin pub.
I was in the wrong. That man deserved to enjoy his time in the pub without having it to end the way it did.
Fighters like Khabib and Jorge Masvidal tried to close the gap on McGregor during his time off, but they simply don't move the needle like Conor, even when he's not fighting. And when McGregor demolished Cowboy at UFC 246, it was as if he was forgiven for all his sins. As much as McGregor enriched himself, as he went from collecting welfare checks to becoming the wealthiest UFC fighter in a matter of years, the UFC doesn't sell for $4 billion in 2016 without his rise to superstar. All that said, McGregor simply isn't one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's incredibly talented, don't get me wrong, and holding titles at featherweight and lightweight, 2 of the most stacked divisions in the UFC, is a major accomplishment. But where McGregor falls short is in title defenses. He never defended either belt because he was chasing bigger and better things. When he was the featherweight champ, it was the lightweight belt. When he was the lightweight champ, it was the Mayweather fight.
When I count to 3, I want this entire arena to scream, fuck the Mayweathers! 1, 2, 3, fuck the Mayweathers!
He didn't hang around at the top of either division long enough to build up a resume that compares to that of Demetrius Johnson, who holds the title defense record at 11, or John Jones, who has the most wins in title bouts at 14. McGregor also isn't as skilled as some of the pound-for-pound greats like Mighty Mouse, Bones Jones, and GSP. Those 3 fighters are incredibly well-rounded, and that's what made them unstoppable. While McGregor is an outstanding striker, he has clear weaknesses in his grappling game. His takedown defense is solid, but if you manage to get him to the mat like Khabib or Nate Diaz did, well, you know what happened.
Nate Diaz! He's down!
It's on the chin.
There's the tap! Still undisputed!
And to address Conor's latest Twitter rant, the GOAT debate isn't about exciting finishes. Conor will always be the A-side and must-watch TV, but that doesn't mean he's the best. Conor's played his cards in MMA about as well as anyone with his abilities could have, maximizing his earnings while becoming a true global sports superstar in a sport that can still largely be considered niche. And the UFC should be thankful. Conor McGregor may not be the greatest, or even one of the greatest in the sport's history, but his larger-than-life personality has made it damn sure that when he walks into a room, you'll never have to ask yourself,
Who the f*** is that guy? Who the f*** is that?
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.